From the Central Western Washington area, Choice Regional Health Network presents the Equity Circle podcast, a place for information with integrity, accountability, and innovation. Enjoy the episode. All right, everyone. Welcome to the Equity Circle podcast. My name is Lawrence Kinnaman, and I am your host. I'm excited to have a colleague of mine and someone that's been on the show before. So, Connie Sowa, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Lawrence. I'm so glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Well, we do have a bit of an announcement today. It is with sad news that I am leaving Choice Regional Health Network, and I'm going to be moving on to a different position. And with that, I am no longer going to be doing these podcasts. It's been such an honor to be able to do these and being able to interview so many different people and just honestly learn so much. And with that being said, I'm excited to have my colleague Connie Sowa take over the podcast and be a host, and I know she's going to do a great job. So, Connie, for our listeners, can you just tell them what they should expect moving forward and some of the things that they're going to be able to hear from you in the podcast?
Yes, thank you, Lawrence. First of all, I want to say what a tremendous contribution Lawrence has made to launching this podcast series. This has been an excellent tool for the organization to provide education, information, share the stories of our own stakeholders and partners here throughout the region. And I want to continue that tradition by continuing this podcast series and allowing, again, our partners and stakeholders throughout the region to come on board and talk to us about how they're transitioning from pandemic to endemic. We're going to feature the criminal justice system, for instance. We're going to look at how the criminal justice system has adapted and what might be the future as they move forward away from the pandemic. We'll be looking at our local MCOs. How have they been able to continue helping the local communities, and how will they transition into that post-pandemic environment? Behavioral health, mental health, those are high on the list of organizations and communities that we want to examine, because this has been painful for so many people and it has affected communities, especially in our rural areas. So we want to find out, is telehealth really working, and what kind of improvements can be made in that arena? And finally, we'll continue to try and feature episodes about our school systems. We'll bring together superintendents and school counselors to talk about what initiatives they are wanting to bring into the classroom, onto the school campus, to help children adapt and continue to move forward beyond the pandemic. So these are just a few of the topics. And as always, listeners, we welcome any suggestions from any of our listeners of any topics you would like to hear in future podcasts.
Well, that sounds very exciting, Connie, and I'm looking forward to being able to hear these podcasts, even as I move on to a different position. And listeners, it's important for you to know that these new episodes will be starting to be released on March 17th. We'll make sure to put that in the show notes as well. So, Connie, thank you so much for being on the podcast. It's been an honor to work with you, and thank you for look forward to what's next.
Oh, thank you so much, Lawrence. You will definitely be missed. But hey, I think you need to come on as a guest in a future episode too. So I'm looking forward to that reunion.
Absolutely. I'd be happy to do that. Well, thank you again, Connie, and thank you to our listeners for listening to another episode of the Equity Circle podcast. As always, please make sure to subscribe and share with friends and family. Leave us a review. We'd really do appreciate it. And lastly, remember that equity equals progress.